everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are here with
Ollie. Hello.
Ollie is here with us today to do a very special video. It is the Premier League prediction. We're going to start off with some little extras, the best players, the worst players we're going to do. So let's get straight into it. Ollie, who is your surprise player?
So I've gone for maybe quite controversial, Raul Jimenez.
Raul Jimenez.
So last season he was obviously injured. He had that horrible injury, but he's back now, and I reckon he'll be a massive surprise, and I reckon he'll definitely hit double digits.
Wow, fair enough. Okay, an interesting Wolves side. For my surprise player, I've got Timo Werner. He said it himself, with a big, strong striker like Romelu Lukaku, he's most likely going to be played a bit more out wide, where I think he's going to strive, getting more assists and goals. But we'll see how it goes. Next up, the flop of the season. Who is yours?
So I've got Aubameyang. My second is Gabriel Jesus, but I'm going for Aubameyang.
Okay.
I think this Arsenal side is awful. It's one of the worst they've had. They're now going to go and win the league or something, because I've said that. But yeah, Jesus isn't going to have a good season either, but Aubameyang is going to really struggle, and I think he'll probably move somewhere else next season.
Okay, well, my flop of the season is Jack Grealish, the most expensive Premier League player ever, the most expensive English player ever, £100 million for Man City. Hopefully started Jack Grealish, but the fact that he might not start is the thing that's made me put him there. I don't think he's going to do as well as he did at Villa, and the expectations are so high for him that it's going to be very hard to reach them. Next up, who is your player of the season?
So mine is, I'm already regretting choosing him already, is Raheem Sterling.
Raheem Sterling?
Yeah, he had an amazing Euros. You can't deny that, and I think he might carry it on this season. He's, again, now going to play awful, and I'm going to look like an idiot. But,
Okay, fair enough. That is an interesting one. My player of the season is Kai Havertz. This one, another one, might cause a bit of controversy. There is going to be a lot of bias in this video. Me and Ollie are both Chelsea fans. Havertz, he's looked good in pre-season. He's looked good in Champions League to the latter stages of last season. I feel like at Cam, that number 9 role, he's going to do a lot better. Might even play up top with Lukaku. And I think he's going to have a good season. He's showing good signs, and the amount of money we paid for him could finally come through.
So we've got top scorer. I think we've both got the same person. It's Romelu Lukaku. He's been amazing for Inter. He's signing for Chelsea, and as a Chelsea fan, I really hope and think we're going to do really well this season. And he's like a 20-goal a season anyway. So in this Chelsea team, which is probably the best team he'll have played in, sorry, Man United fans, he'll probably score even more.
Belgian beast Romelu Lukaku. Finally, it's a player Chelsea have proven. Hopefully, he can break the number 9 cast. Over 100 goals in the Premier League already, so Lukaku should be big for Chelsea next season. That's why we've both got him top scorer. Next up, though, we do have top assister. Do you want to do yours?
De Bruyne. Simple.
Bruno, also quite simple.
Do we really need to say anything?
2 top cams and 2 of the best teams in the world. They can't not get all those assists, so I think that's a fair enough one. Finally, though, is the Golden Glove. Which keeper's going to get the most clean sheets?
I've gone for Mendy. Our defences are really solid. Great keeper as well, so why not?
Yeah, similar reasons for me. Edison, I feel like maybe City's defence is more consistent. Might help him out even more. Could really be anyone.
It's actually interesting, though, that we haven't said Alisson or mentioned Van Dijk at all.
Yeah.
What impact do you reckon he's going to have?
I think he's going to have a big one. Obviously, Van Dijk coming back. He's got Konate next to him this time, which is a bit better than Joe Gomez or Matip. The fullbacks, Trent and Robertson. The Liverpool defence is going to be very good this season.
I think Klopp needs a few new signings, especially one in midfield.
Those are our predictions for the players, and let's move on to the table. Okay, then, in 20th place for me, I have put Norwich City. This one could be a few of the teams in the relegation zone. It has to be someone. It's going to be Norwich for me. They lost their main man from the Championship last season, Buendia, and they haven't really got many people to replace him, with Cantwell linked to leaving as well. I don't think they've got enough signings to back up the people who have left the season. I think that's going to hurt them.
In my 20th, I have Brentford. I think that's going to annoy quite a few people. I know I'd actually like to see them stay up. I just don't. It all really depends for me on how well Ivan Toney does. Even then, I think they are strong contenders to get relegated.
Yeah, I do agree, but in my 18th place, this is where I do have Watford. I'm sorry, I do like Watford. I would like them to stay up, but realistically, I can't see it happening. They do have the likes of Ismaila Sarr, who's obviously going to get goals. I don't think that they have that squad depth, that quality that the Premier League demands, and I think they're going to struggle this season.
So in my 19th, I've got Norwich. They haven't made enough signings, and with Buendia going and Cantwell maybe leaving as well, there's not really much hope for that.
And in 18th place, I do have Brentford. I think we'd all like them to stay up. Maybe they could do a Leeds, get a bit further in table, but I just can't see it. They don't have many signings. They do have a few, but no big name players that are going to take the league by storm. They also have Ivan Toney, proven goal scorer, but can he do it in the Prem? I'm not too sure. So it'll be interesting to see if he can. I hope he does. Hope I'm proving wrong, but I think Brentford are going to get relegated.
To cap off all the relegated teams we've predicted, I've gone for Brighton. Graham Potter, he's a good manager. They've got an okay side. Losing Ben White will be a loss. Their goal scoring problem has actually not really been brought up, but
Yeah, it's surprising they haven't signed a striker.
they really do need one. Was it Mope and
Yeah, they've got so many expected goals, but they can't put the ball in the back of the net, and they haven't signed a striker just yet. There's a few more weeks left, but that is surprising from Brighton.
Also, I don't think I've even seen them linked with anybody. They've got that 50 million from Ben White. I haven't seen anybody, any signings.
Well, that is our relegation zone done. Hopefully, some of those teams prove us wrong, but we will see in the end. Let's move on to the rest of the table. Okay, so in 17th place for me now, I do have Brighton. Now, I do think Graham Potter, he is a very good manager, and the side does have some potential, but like we were saying earlier, they haven't fixed their goal scoring problems. And in the Premier League, one thing you do need is goals. I think they'll just about make it up with the quality of the side. It's a very experienced side that I think will get a few wins, a few draws here and there, but not enough to get any higher than 17th, but I do think they will stay up.
I've got Watford, the cycling GK, what a goalkeeper. But yeah, I think they've got just enough to squeeze out of their relegation zone.
Well, in my 16th place, this is where I've got Southampton. A lot of people are saying that these guys might get relegated this season with the loss of Danny Ings to Aston Villa.
Also, we've just had breaking news that Yannick Vestergaard has left as well.
Oh yes, Vestergaard, where did he go to?
Leicester.
Yeah, Leicester. That is also a huge loss for Southampton. Their rock at the back has left. They should get a few quid from these signings, but they don't seem to be spending them on any more signings to improve their squad, and that is really what they're going to need with all these missing gaps in the team.
They also lost Ryan Bertrand as well.
Oh yes, that is also a bit of a loss for them. So yeah, they've been losing players and they haven't been getting the replacements in. So I think this team is going to feel like a bit of a different one with the loss of Danny Ings and all those players, and I don't think they're going to do too well, but 16th will do for them.
In 16th, I've got Crystal Palace. This is where they normally finish, maybe a bit higher every year, but I don't know. I think Patrick Vieira won't be as good as Roy Hodgson. He'll be a bit more exciting as a coach.
Well, in my 15th, this is where I've got Burnley. I think it's very average. You can't predict too much for Burnley. Sean Dyche eventually might get relegated, but the football he does, Brexit football, it does the job. It's not a club that's aiming for much more than 15th really, but they seem to be happy where they are, consolidating their position in the league, and 15th is pretty predictable for them.
So I've also put 15th for Burnley as well, same reasons really as Donny, we can just skip through that.
Yep, and in 14th, this is where I've got Crystal Palace. I think they might do a little bit lower. Patrick Vieira, I don't think he's really the man for a job. Definitely Roy Hodgson's more of a basic coach that'll keep them in the league. Patrick Vieira, it could go very well or it could go very badly. I think it's going to end up 14th for Crystal Palace. They're keeping Wilfred Zaha, which is going to be big for them. That's guaranteed goals and assists. The likes of Eze as well. I think it might push them up a few places in the league.
And in 14th, I have Southampton. I mean, they've lost a lot of their key players, as we were discussing earlier. I just can't see them getting anywhere near the standard they have been recently. But I think they'll just stay up, yeah.
Yeah, well, in my 13th place, this is where I have got Newcastle. I think they signed Joe Willock from Arsenal on a permanent. He was obviously big for them in the latter stages of last year. And I think the likes of him, the likes of Almiron, these little players who might not necessarily be big names, so Max Munton as well, they all go together really nicely. I don't think they're going to do too well, but they never really do. They're a mid-table side, maybe a bit less, and that's why I think they're going to go 13th.
In my 13th, I've also got Newcastle, pretty standard. They look more exciting up top now. They should be able to get a few goals. Callum Wilson and so Maximan Joe Willock. And they don't look too bad at the back either, so yeah, solid 13th place.
In my 12th place, this is where I have got Wolves. I'm not too sure about Wolves, how they're going to do next season. The loss of Nuno Espirito Santo to Tottenham is going to be interesting. Maybe we're going to see a very different side. But they don't seem to have got many new players, have they?
No, not really, no.
No, they haven't. Well, we'll see how Jimenez does back from injury. Hopefully he does well. Ollie's surprise player, we'll see how he does. But I don't think anyone's going to stand out enough for them, although I think they'll be happy with a mid-table finish.
I've also put Wolves 12.
Well, in my 11th, this is where I've got Everton. Things have gone a bit rough for them recently, but I do think the likes of James Rodriguez, I feel like the team, they have the quality players they had from last season, the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, those goals assisted, they're almost guaranteed now, will be huge for them. Their defence doesn't look too bad either with Ben Godfrey. See if Pickford can carry on his form from the Euros. And I think they might have a decent year, but a bit worse than last.
In 11th, I've got Arsenal, and I'm so confident of this.
Arsenal, 11th.
I'm so confident that they won't do very well this season, that if they get into the Europa League or Champions League, I will personally go to the Emirates Stadium and beg for forgiveness for at least 5 Arsenal fans outside the stadium.
I don't think you'll do that, but
I will, trust me. We've got it on camera now.
We'll go back.
Yeah.
In 8 months' time, you're going to see Ollie at the Emirates Stadium. Well, 11th is quite tight on Arsenal. I think they've got enough players, but I'll go to that when I get to where I predicted them. But in 10th, the top half of the table now, this is where I've got Leeds.
Same.
I think second, okay, well, we'll speak together on this one. I think second season syndrome might come in for them. They won't be as good as last year, but they've still got that quality, the experience in the Premier League.
Don't remember them really signing anybody, but apart from that, yes, a solid season from Leeds. Bielsa is a great manager, and Patrick Bamford will score enough goals.
Cool. Well, in my 9th place, this is where I've got West Ham. I think last year maybe some West Ham fans will be hoping they push for Europe again, but I don't think so. All their players, Mikel Antonio, he's an injury waiting to happen. I think David Moyes, I feel bad for him, he's a class manager, but he hasn't really been backed by the board. With money, they could have signed Tammy Abraham, Kurt Zouma, all these sorts of players, but I do think the likes of Said Ben Rama, who actually could be a surprise player for me, I think he's going to do bits next season for West Ham. Finally, his second season at the club. See if he can continue that form he left off from at Brentford, and I think he's going to be big for them, but he can't get any higher than 9.
At 9th, I've got Everton. Gigne's class, James Rodriguez's class, and Rafa Benitez is a good manager, but they haven't really strengthened. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison are good, but the rest of their team's pretty ropey. So yeah.
In 8th place, this is where I do have Tottenham. I'm rating them quite lowly, and that's just based on Harry Kane. I'm not sure if he's going to stay, if he's going to go, but either way, I don't think it's the same Harry Kane we're going to have seen before in the past. They haven't got many new additions in the summer. Maybe we'll see how they spend the 100 mil if they do sell Kane. Heung-min Son, obviously, I think he signed a new contract. He seems quite committed to Spurs, which is nice to see. At least that's something they can build around. But yeah, I don't see Spurs doing too well next season.
In my 8th, I have Aston Villa, and it's actually could be quite a surprise they're this high up. I know they even higher than Donny's, but they've done well in the transfer market. They've done really well, and even though Grealish has gone, they've still got a very, very good squad. I think they might maybe not do as well as last year because they obviously are missing their talisman.
Fair enough. Well, in my 7th, this is where I do have Aston Villa. Pretty much same reasons as Ollie. They seem more defensively sound. They signed Alex Tuanzebe, I think, on loan from Manchester United, which I'm not sure how it will do for them, but it's something to add a little bit of squad depth. Can't do any harm for Aston Villa. But yeah, they seem to have great signings all over the park. They might even get one more in midfield. John McGinn seems to be doing quite good. The fullbacks, everyone at Aston Villa seems to be doing well. The only issue is whether or not these new players will gel together. Obviously, you've got players coming from the Bundesliga. They should be alright, but it will be interesting to see how the team work together.
In my 7th, I've got Tottenham. I think even though they will miss Harry Kane, I think they are still a very good team. Christian Romero is very good. Lloris doesn't get talked about enough. He's amazing. If Kane stays, then I could see them getting a bit higher. But if Kane goes, 7 at best as well, maybe lower.
Fair enough. Now into the top 6, we're talking about European football here. This is where I have put Arsenal. This is the very highest I can see them going this season. They could get a lot lower, like Ollie, he said they would get 11th, but I think that's a little bit harsh. 6th, maybe a bit generous, but I can see Arsenal having a little bit of potential here, not too much. It looks most likely that they're going to sign Martin Odegaard. It's going to be nice going forward to them. I don't think it's too good, but he's something for them to work with. Ben White now as well. It'll be interesting to see how good he does for the Gunners. But yeah, I think they've got something to build on. Aubameyang, Lacazette, they could do with one more maybe exciting player up top, but I think they do have definitely the quality to get top 6.
And in my 6th, I have West Ham. I think they will miss Jesse Lingard, and I know he was a big player for them, but they've still got a very good team.
6th for West Ham is very interesting, but moving on to the top 5, this is where I've got Leicester. I'd like to see them do even better this season, but Champions League football once again, I think they're just going to miss out. They won the Community Shield against Man City, quite a nice display. Iñárritu with the winner for Leicester that game, and I think players like him, who have experience from the Prem last season, the likes of Jamie Vardy, will see if he can get back into goal-scoring form. James Maddison, all these players, I think work together really well.
In 5th, I've put Leicester, just a very, very good team. They've got good togetherness. Signing Vestergaard, obviously Fofana is good, but he's injured out now. Soyuncu, Johnny Evans, and that's just offensively. Schmeichel is a great goalkeeper, so yeah, solid all over the park.
Moving up to top 4, Champions League places, and I think all of the top 4 for both of us could probably win the league this season. New signings all around, and the teams are looking very good. But in 4th place, I have put the dirty Scousers, Liverpool. For signings, I don't think they've signed enough people to keep up with everyone else. Ibrahim Konate, though, should be an absolute rock alongside Virgil van Dijk, who's coming back from injury. But other than that, they don't have many signings going forward. They lost Gini Wijnaldum. I think they definitely need more signings. In midfield, the likes of Thiago, Jordan Henderson, they're knocking on a bit, and they need more fresh, excited players in midfield. And I think that's where they might lose some points.
I have also gone with the Dirty Scousers in 4th. I think The front three, if they can play well together, like they did in that title-winning season, they'll be unstoppable. But I just can't see that happening. They need to make more signings.
Okay, well, moving on to the top three. This is where it's going to get very controversial. In third place, I have put Manchester City. I know. Spent 100 mil on Jack Grealish, might spend even more on Harry Kane. And their squad depth is brilliant. They could play two sides who are probably both world class. But I just don't know what it is that I don't quite think is going to gel with this Manchester City side. We saw against Leicester. I know it was the Community Shield and they weren't trying too hard. But I just don't know if this City side can go all the way once again.
So in my third place, I've got Manchester United.
Ooh.
I think they've made some very good signings. They've been amazing in this transfer window. If they do not win a trophy this season, then Ollie's got to go. He's been backed. Everybody's like, oh, Ollie needs to be backed. He's been backed. He's been given signings. Spent like 120 million. They are probably a top class striker away from being one of the best teams in the world. And I know that's a statement, but like look at their squad. I think the only thing that puts them in third for me is just the depth. Like, once you get out of their starting 11, who have you got to replace them?
Well, now, top two. Second place is where I have put Manchester United. The red side of Manchester is the one I think is going to succeed this season. The signings all around look absolutely incredible. The back four seems pretty unstoppable. Midfield is class as well, and I can't see why they shouldn't get top two.
My second place, I've got Man City. They're a great team. They've got so many good players. I've just got a feeling that Chelsea will come out on top. It's going to be close though. It's going to be very, very close between United, City and Chelsea. And I'm actually going to say, if somebody outside of those three get into the top three places, I'll do the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So not only could I be doing the Ice Bucket Challenge, I could also be begging for forgiveness outside of the Emirates. So,
wow. Bold statements from you there. Obviously, I did put Chelsea top as well. The likes of Romelu Lukaku, the missing piece of the puzzle for Chelsea. Surely he's going to fix their goal scoring needs. Not necessarily too many signings this window, but the likes of Koundé as well could really boost our defence.
Another interesting point would be though, who are we going to start in goal? Because we're recording this half an hour after the Super Cup final. Kepa did amazing in the penalty shootout. Do you reckon you give him another chance?
I do, but I think Eduardo Mendy, Tuchel said it before, we'll probably say it again, he is our starting goalkeeper. But I think Kepa might see more game time this season.
I feel like it would be nice, maybe just to give Kepa maybe a run of games, see what he can do. Because after all, he's had so much pressure on him. And that just those two saves in the final must be a massive confidence boost. But also, it just lifts the pressure off. Like, he's won us a trophy. He's done something to merit his transfer fee. So, you never know, but yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we see him do well, but that does mean the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. We'll come back in 8 months' time to hopefully see Ollie outside of the Emirates, covered in soaking water, but we will see. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, remember to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know your predictions down in the comments below. And yeah, goodbye!
There we go.
Boom.